And even during the unboxing, a lot of folks pointed out in the comments that it looked just like the Leatherman Wave. So when I found out, I started looking into that. On the other side, you have sort of like a filer. Hello and what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Miguel and you are watching Miguel EDC. Today we are going to be reviewing this guy right here, the Flissa Multitool. This is a 16-in-1 from Flissa. Like I've mentioned in other videos, right, I was definitely looking forward to this review. A lot of people have left lots of comments about this one, saying that it is a copy of the Leatherman Wave. We're going to get into that later on in the video as well. I'm going to give you some size comparisons. We're going to talk about weight, measurements, things like that. It's just going to give you guys an overall experience with this guy, what EDC in this multi-tool has been like over the last couple of weeks. So if you like that type of content, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Let's go ahead and jump right into it, right? So as you guys already know in the channel, right, most of the content that I've pushed out so far has been about knives, but this is the very first multi-tool that not only did I did an unboxing, but I'm also reviewing here in the channel. I just want to give you guys a quick idea, kind of the extent of my multi-tools and where they go. It does come in the in this nice fabric sort of pouch, if you will, so that's very nice. We can you know, go ahead and show you that in just a little bit. I'm going to leave it here in frame for you so you guys can see that with the Flissa logo there. But you guys, this is the extent of the multi-tools that I've had in the past. This is like a generic one from Cobalt, right? So if you like to shop at Lowe's, right, you'll find these on special all the time. This one's spring loaded, right? So it's gonna be hard to kind of put them side by side, but that gives you an idea right there, right? It's gonna be hard to put them side by side because this one is spring loaded, so it's gonna want to stay open there, but that kind of gives you an idea. I'm gonna leave that in frame for a second. There's the smaller brother from Cobalt brand, right? And it's this little tiny guy. This one is not spring loaded. And again, these are some generic multi-tools that I have accumulated over the years, but you know, never really nothing too crazy or too serious. And then there's this last little guy here. I forget where I got this guy from. It has some Superior Tank Co. ink written right there. At some point, it did have a functioning flashlight, but it doesn't work anymore. So, and this one's also spring loaded. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I've had these three guys right here, right? These guys for the longest, and you know, they definitely became very handy, very useful at different times, but never did I really get a sort of serious multi-tool up until this point when I first got into my EDC journey, right? I was looking into different things that you EDC, of course, knives, that's for a fact something that I've gotten plenty of right now, and I plan on continue growing my collection. But I wanted to experience and also expand a little bit more my knowledge, the content that I deliver to you guys as far as multi-tool goes. And by far right now, as crazy as this sounds, the unboxing of this guy at this point in time is the most popular video in the channel, right? Which I think is crazy. So there's definitely a lot of demand, definitely a lot of interest in wanting to know, wanting to learn more about what this Flissa multi-tool is all about. So first of all, of course, it's going to work as a pair of pliers. So that's very nice. You have a nice clipper right here at the tip. Not the tip, but the biting portion right there. So that's very nice if the camera can focus on that. There it is. Right, so you can definitely cut some wires there, strip some wires if you wanted to. It's both a wire cutter and a wire stripper, right? It is made in stainless steel, and if that's not obvious enough, you got a big stainless steel logo right there. This guy then folds right back into this you know, shape right here. This is the folded shape, of course, and it definitely packs away very nice into this pouch right here. You can run your belt through it, right, and then just carry it like any other EDC, right? So that makes it very convenient, very comfortable. It is a very nice size. You can kind of see there in my hand, right? It is pretty medium size, not too bulky, not too small. We're gonna get into size measurements and weights and things like that in a moment. But other than that, we have, of course, have to have the main blade right there. Right, so that is very nice. We'll be doing a paper cut test in a little bit. These do lock in place, so got the little lock logo right there, so you can lock and unlock these. On the other side, you have sort of like a filer. On the other side, you have like a filer, so to speak, right? So a nice different grit variations on both sides right there. And again, that locks in place. So you have to kind of push right there in order to fold that back. Over on the other side, we have the serrated blade as well. All right, so that's very nice for cutting rope. I'm sorry, there's lots of fingerprints everywhere. I went ahead and gave it a wipe right there so it looks a little bit better on camera. But yeah, I can see the serrated one being very good for cutting rope and things like that. And on the other side of that, I think this looks crazy. You have the craziest saw I've ever seen. I mean, the teeth of this thing are insane. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here. You guys kind of get the idea, right? I mean, these are very, very sharp, and I can imagine, right, when it comes to cutting, right, they definitely get the job done for sure, right? So that being said, right, everything else, right, we can access from the inside, right? So we'll go ahead and open it up. We have some centimeters right here and inches on the other side. So for measurements, right, that's a nice quick reference. You have that on both sides, which is very, very nice. Also on here, we'll start with this side, right? If this thing doesn't go flying like it did last time during the unboxing, this thing kind of embarrassed me a little bit. Yeah, it's just a plain screw head. Why am I forgetting this right now, right? So, whoa. Things that happen during an unboxing.
One eternity later.
All right, so this guy went flying. I'm not sure why. So you do have a screwdriver with both a flathead and a Phillips bit. So that does swap from one end to another. It's very convenient too, right? So if you're doing, you could do it, you know, completely folded and still do your, you know, screwdriver work, which I believe is, I honestly think it's very, very nice that you can do that. This locks in place very solid, so in order to let go, right, I'm going to push here and fold that out of the way. That being said, that is everything on this side. On the other side, we have some other good pieces here. We have a sort of like a bottle opener slash blade here as well, right? Take a look there for yourself. We have this bit right here. All right, so a nice little tiny pry tool, if you will. We have what looks like a bigger pry tool also, right? And then last but not least, my favorite, right? This right here would be the scissors, right? Look at that. That would be the scissors right there. So let me fold everything else out of the way, leave the scissors out. And again, you can open them and then they lock in place right here. This is a locking mechanism, right? And when they are locked in place, right, they're not going anywhere. These are some nice scissors right there, right? I like the bouncy motion, right? How they bounce back, right? And then when it comes time to fold them, right? Very easy operation. Push right here, right? That unlocks the scissors there. And then you kind of fold it in a way where you hopefully don't cut yourself. But that is a quick overview. Of course, I kind of showed that overview during the unboxing as well. All right, let's now actually get a little bit more into sort of like the length and things like that, right? So folded, it actually comes in, let's see, right? The full folded length is going to be around total of 4 inches, right? I want to say 4 inches right there. And then I want to say the width is probably around inch and a half, right? Inch and a half on the width. How thick it is, I want to say about 3/4 of an inch, a little bit more. Yeah, around that ballpark. Now let's test it open here. So if we do open it right here, let's see, let's measure. Right, so the full length, completely open right there, it's going to be around almost 6.5 inches, right? Total length, 6.5. All right. And if you just want to, you know, I guess get the pliers head right here, it's going to be about 2 1/4 right there, 2 1/4. Back in the folded position, this is what it looks like next to, again, that generic Cobalt multi-tool. All right, definitely this one is much bigger right there. I want to say, has this one become on the line over time? Kind of. There we go. All right, there it is. All right, so that one looks much bigger. There's a tiny brother right here, and then we'll squeeze this other multi-tool right there, right? So that gives you a good size comparison. It's definitely in the medium range, right? Not necessarily as big as this bigger cobalt size here, but definitely not as tiny as these other ones. And again, this is the first multi-tool review in the channel. I'm hoping that as time goes, I'm able to gather some more multi-tools and be able to share more comparison insights with other models, other manufacturers, and things like that. But this is a start right here, right? Looking at the Flissa 6-in-1 multi-tool. Since we don't have any other multi-tools to compare it to, right? Here is the customary comparison next to the Spyderco PM2, right? PM2 is definitely bigger, of course. And the Para 3, it's also going to be a little bit bigger as well. So you can, this guy is definitely thicker, but smaller in size. So it's going to make those everyday tasks much more easier to handle right there. Okay. And again, these are just quick rapid fire comparisons just to kind of give you an idea. If you already EDC some of these knives, right, that's going to give you a good sort of like a milestone, something to compare it to, right? Here it is next to the Demco brothers, right? Demco AD 20.5, the clip point blade and the shark's foot blade, right? These are definitely bigger, of course, when opened up, right? And again, you guys are probably wondering, well, Miguel, why are you comparing it to knives? Well, we do a lot of knives in this channel, right? We do a lot of knives in this channel. That's pretty much what I specialize on for the most part up until this point. I'm hoping to change that. And again, in the future, as I get more and more multi-tools, right, that's hopefully going to change. So during those reviews, you'll see more multi-tools compared to other multi-tools. But here it is compared to the Sencut brothers, the Saxy and the Crawley. Right, that gives you an idea. These are medium to larger knives, right? The multi-tool still smaller, right? I want to say, well, you're probably wondering, Miguel, what does it look like if you just take out the blade, right? Compare it to what it will look like if the actual blade was out. That is a great idea. Boom. Look at that right there. All right, that's probably a more accurate comparison, right? Blade and handle, right? That's what we're looking at. And last but not least, let's do the Ontario brothers as well, the Ontario Wrap Model 1 and Wrap Model 2. I want to say it definitely compares to the Wrap Model 2 a lot more than the Wrap Model 1. The Wrap Model 1 is always going to be in a category of its own right there. You could clearly see that. But again, just quick comparisons, right? Kind of give you an idea for the size. And since we have the blade out here, right, let's go ahead and bring out the tape measure again. This blade is going to be about let's say 2 3/4, right? 2 3/4 of an inch right there. And then the whole length, crazy, right? Like this is exactly 7 inches, right? So it's gonna be on that Civivi Elementum Kershaw leak, overall length. And to show you guys what I mean by that, right? Check it out for yourself, right? 7 inches long right there. The Civivi Elementum and the Kershaw leak, right? So it kind of fits into that 7-inch category right there. By the way, reviews on these guys, the Elementum and the Kershaw leak, are both on the channel. Make sure to check those out as well. I'll probably leave a link in the description. Kind of going back to the action here for a second. So this is not going to be as satisfying as your EDC knife, right? This is going to be a slow opener. And I think that's probably intentional, right? If you want to do it one hand, you can, right? Always use your thumb here and just kind of fold the blade. If you're left-handed, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, right? Because then your blades are always going to benefit right-handed people a little bit more. So that might be something to think about if you are left-handed, right? This multi-tool does benefit or give an advantage to right-handed people. So in my thumb right here, I can access a blade. If I turn it around, right, I can also access the serrated blade, right? Both with my thumb, I can do that one-hand operation all day long. It's the other ones that do require both hands, right? You have to kind of use your nail here to open up the, saw right there, or the, filing tool. Let's do a quick carry profile here, of course. Let's do the Para 3, PM2, right? So that's going to be probably same width as the Para 3. Para 2 probably a little bit wider by maybe a hair, but that gives you an idea right there. Next to the Demco brothers, right? I want to say, the Demco AD 20.5 might be a little bit wider, right, on this carry profile comparison, but again around the same ballpark, The carry profile here next to the Sencut brothers, the Crawley and Saxy, right? Definitely a little bit wider than the Crawley, but probably about the same, if not a hair wider than the Saxy. And last but not least, let's do the Ontario Rat Model 1 here, which is going to be the wider one, and still probably the closest to the Flissa Multitool. Of course, the Rat Model 2 is going to be a lot narrower, as you can see. This is a quick hardware check on this guy. By the way, guys, the tools that I use in the channel are very affordable. They are linked down below in the description. They are part of the Strabito set. Right, very recommendable, highly recommendable. So let's take a look at this guy. I want to say it might be T8 over here, right? So T8 on this end, right? Got some smaller screws and some bigger screws. So T8 on this side. I want to say on the other side as well. Indeed. So you got T8 right here. And these are a little bit bigger for sure. And by the way, I like how the light hits them, right? Look at that. If you're into chrome and shine and all that, that's going to be, right, something that you'll like. Even bigger than T10. Let's see, do I have T15? That's still too small. And let's see, what about, I think my set only goes up to T20. So somewhere between T20 and T15, I want to say maybe T17, right? So T17, keep that in mind for these bigger screws over here. While we're here, let's do a quick blade stock thickness, right? At the thickest point, we have about 0.08 inches, right? And at the, I guess at the tip here, we'll have about, hold on, let me get an accurate measurement right there. About 0.04 inches on the tip. Right, so yeah, it's definitely got some width to it, right? But I want to say this thing looks super, super sharp. All right, let's do the paper cut test here, shall we? All right, look at that, guys. All right, you guys be the judge of that. Let's see. All right, very, very sharp for what it is, right? I'm not expecting it to be as sharp as an actual foldable knife, but it is getting the job done. All right, some all right, there you go. Went all around the paper right there. But you guys be the judge of that. Let me know. Definitely, this blade has seen some use already. Obviously, I've been EDCing it for a while, and you know that does factor in. But I mean, that is something to keep in mind. I know for a fact there was probably one of you guys out there that was like, "Wait a second, he never showed the scissors and how they cut." So for like those 3 or 4 of you, here it is, right? So the scissors, they definitely get the work done, right? As you can see. Well, yeah, for sure, they're gonna, you know, any paper or anything like that, as long as it's a light cut, they're gonna be able to get that done, no problem, as you would expect, right? But there it is, the scissor cut test, so make sure I didn't forget about that. So I knew for a fact somebody was gonna mention that in the comments, right? It is time to get a quick weight on this guy. I mean, it is on the thicker side, so my guess is probably gonna be, I want to say 4.8 ounces, maybe closer to 5. So here it is. Oh, nowhere near close. I gotta work on my guesstimations, because this guy is 9.4 ounces. 9.4 ounces, almost 10. And yeah, it is, you know, quite a bit of weight on your hand, because I mean everything that you have at your disposal, right? 16 different tools. So 9.4 ounces for comparison purposes, right? The Cobalt, it's actually lighter, right? The Cobalt is 8.4 ounces, so it looks bigger, but the material on the Cobalt here is actually lighter. So the Cobalt comes in at 8.4 ounces. One last time here, the Flissa tool Multitool 9.4. So let's talk about the carry experience, right? What is a multi-tool all about? Well, the idea, I mean, this is not rocket science, right? So the idea behind a multi-tool is that you can have something, right, at a small factor, like this guy, right, when it is, you know, tucked away. I mean, this fits in your hand pretty much. That's how small it is. And by the way, this guy saw not only a lot of belt time, but also time in the glove compartment or door glove box right there. I kept it there for different occasions where it came super handy. And there were times where I didn't have a screwdriver handy, and this guy just saved the day, right? This guy right here saved the day. Just the fact that you have a Phillips and a flathead right there at your disposal, that came super handy as well. Now, of course, unlike perhaps your average user, right? Most people that don't EDC a knife, right? Most people that don't EDC a dedicated blade, so to speak, right? This is gonna also solve that issue. I know there's a lot of people who love their Swiss Army knives, right? Having multiple blade options, right? This guy right here is going to get the job done, right? And again, I did this guy under 3 inches of blade, at least cutting edge. That is very good right there. So almost 10 ounces, and you can see it's a pretty balanced tool right there. I want to say, yeah, as far as the weight on both ends, right, it is pretty balanced. By the way, this locking mechanism right here, I want to talk about this for a second. So it has it on every single one of the corners. So you have 4 different tools out of each one of the corners right here, and I gotta say, this makes a big difference because it gives you a lot of peace of mind, right? When it kind of works like a liner lock in a way, right? When this piece right here is pushed in, it blocks the blade from being able to fold in, right? So it works similar to a liner lock, right? If you're familiar with that, obviously, on a folder knife. So it works the exact same way. Yes, you open it, right? This right here locks the blade in place, gives you that peace of mind, and you can always, you know, kind of like a liner lock, push in and then close the blade just like that. So I was actually looking at the Amazon posting here. So this guy comes in at $30 as of the time of this video, right? It also comes in black if you want to go for a little bit of a black aesthetic, right? I was actually reading to see if there was any specific steel compound or specific steel for the blade, but they're just saying that everything is stainless steel, right? So they don't give much information about the actual blade steel, so just assuming it's a generic type. But again, this is not going to be your main blade, right? This is more of a multi-tool, so it gives you a blade, but you're probably not going to rely on this blade. You're probably going to also carry a dedicated folder EDC knife also. So the 16-in-1 tools that we're talking about, we have a long nose plier, bowl gripper, hardwire cutter, ruler, Phillips screwdriver, flat screwdriver, knife, saw, serrated blade, wood and metal file, scissors, large flat screwdriver, small flat screwdriver, can opener, wire stripper, soft wire cutter, right? That's pretty much all 16 summarized right there, in case I hadn't already shown you guys or mentioned, or in case I miss any. So that being said, guys, let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room, right? Let's go ahead and talk about, is this guy a copy of the Leatherman Wave, right? Is it not? What are my thoughts about that, right? That is the elephant in the room, so let's go ahead and address that. So let me first share with you guys that when I picked this guy up, right, I was doing some light research, right? I was mainly into knives. You can see 98% of the content in this channel is EDC knives of all kinds. So I was barely tiptoeing my toes in the water of multi-tools, right? And so I came across this guy in Amazon. It looked like a good deal. I picked it up, right? Later on, been doing more research into multi-tools, right? And even during the unboxing, a lot of folks pointed out in the comments that it looked just like the Leatherman Wave. So when I found out, I started looking into that, right? I'm gonna put some B-roll, probably put some B-roll on the screen here from other peers of mine here on YouTube that have reviewed or actually own a Leatherman Wave, since I don't own one myself at the moment. And you guys be the judge of that, right? There are some slight differences, right, on the design, right? So they didn't necessarily copy it 100%. But as far as the main features, right, as far as having a blade or a tool in each one of the corners here, right, even the fact that, you know, the blades are located with your thumb, right, on both ends. You know, when you turn it around, you know, 180, right, that's pretty much all the same on the Leatherman wave. And so again, I didn't have knowledge about it at the time, and when I bought it, I thought it was a good price, a good deal. It has helped me a lot throughout the time that I have been you know, owning it, so to speak. And so I realized that it looked just like the wave when somebody pointed that out to me. This one, of course, is made in China. The wave is made in the US. I'm all about supporting US companies. And yeah, if it looks like it's a clone, I mean, you guys let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. I'm definitely jumping in the conclusion that it is very, very similar. So much so it might just be a copy of the wave. Now, I am past the period of time where I can return this guy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and keep it, right? I'm going to go ahead and obviously keep it in the channel as an example of, hey, do your research before you buy a product, especially if it looks too good to be true. Chances are it might be a copy of another great product that already exists. So look into it, do your research, right? Find out, make sure it doesn't become a replica or a copy. Make sure that you're not supporting a company, right, that is basically copying designs from a US based company, right? So that's my motto going forward, right? This is going to be a first example. So being an EDC rookie, being an EDC newbie, right, that is my lesson learned right there. Pick this guy up when I didn't know any better. I was trying to get my feet wet into the multi-tool land of EDC, right? So it's trying to look into everything, coins, knives, lanterns or flashlights, pens, right? More of that content is going to be coming on the channel. But yeah, this being my first multi-tool that I bought, you know, to generate content for the channel, definitely a lesson learned right there. That being said, right, hope you guys enjoyed the review. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Definitely would like to hear from you guys. If I missed anything during this review, right, make sure to let me know. If there's anything you guys would like to see in the future, also let me know as well. I would love to see and read your comments, see your thoughts on this topic, especially when it comes to like clone versions of a certain product and things like that. By the way, by the time you see this video, there is a possibility that the review video for this Ganso Axis Lock knife may be out already. If that is the case, I'm gonna put a card right here for you guys, so check that out if that review is available. I did an unboxing on this guy. This was my second Axis Lock, and this is a great EDC knife, also at a great price. This one does not resemble any other knife out there, so it is a nice EDC knife. I'm waiting to do the review here very soon. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.